What's up, everybody? Justin here, back with a new Who's Better show, new episode of Who's Better. And this is going to be a good one. It's between two legendary Hall of Fame, two of the biggest names in wrestling history, two of the all-time greats, two of a lot of fans' favorites that grew up watching them. One guy, I will admit, not by me, but one guy is a lot more hated than the other guy. The other guy is a lot more loved. I don't know if it's because he's passed away, but a lot of fans think the other guy's better. But I'll decide that. It's my show. If you want to say one of these guys, if you don't agree with my decision in this Who's Better show, it's my show. If you don't think I'm right or you don't agree with me, you don't like my decision, who I say who's better, make your own damn video. Or fight. You can fight with each other in the comments about who's better. And that I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. It's my opinion. To me, my opinion is always right. I respect other friends and fans' opinions, but my opinion I respect and listen to the most. So up first, before we start, I'll just start it off right away. Before we start this Who's Better episode, before I tell you who are the two wrestlers that are going head to head, up first, I just want to say, I'll just start it off right now. This episode of Who's Better is between the Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh yeah, and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage in an episode of Who's Better. I will debate for both. Excuse me. For both guys, I will debate, in my opinion, who's better. And the good stuff they did in their careers and the bad stuff that they did. Now, I'm not going to get into their personal lives. It's not about their personal lives, really, at all. It's about their wrestling careers and what they did in wrestling and the legacy they left behind, or the legacy they created in wrestling. And they are two of the all-time greats. That is for damn sure. They're both in my top 5. So up first, I'm going to go with Macho Man Randy Savage and talk about his career and debate the good and bad that he did. So he doesn't have much bad, in my opinion, that he did in wrestling. Just a little bad he did. So up first, I want to say the Macho Man Randy Savage debuted in 1973. I thought he debuted a little later, to be honest, like 76 or 78. But no, he debuted in 73. And he worked for his father's promotion in Memphis. I think it was called IWA, I think. And they had a pretty good promotion. They were like competing with Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett's, I don't know what you would call their promotion, Memphis Wrestling or something. So Randy Savage debuted in 1973. His final match was in 2004. And it was not very good. It was still cool to see him, but he did not have a good match or a performance. And it was actually a TNA pay-per-view. TNA Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. It was at Victory Road, 2004. or not turn. I think it's Turning Point. I think it's Turning Point 2004, not Victory Road. So one weird thing about Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage, their final matches that they've ever had, I don't think Hogan's going to come back and wrestle ever again. I mean, he could be in like a 6-man tag or a tag, but I doubt he ever will be. So, the really odd thing, and I don't know, fun fact, is the Macho Man's last match was in TNA in 2004. And Hulk Hogan's last match was also in TNA. I think in 2011 or 10. One of those years was his final match in TNA against Sting. So that's pretty weird. Two of the all-time greats, the Mega Powers. I mean, these two guys could be on anybody's Mount Rushmore of wrestling. That is really weird that both of these guys had their final matches in TNA. That's really weird. So, again, he had his final match. Randy Savage did at TNA, I think Turning Point 2004. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But you can look it up on the internet. So I'm going to start with some of the bad that Macho Man did in his career. Not really on TV because he was just playing his heel character when he's being abusive to Elizabeth. He wasn't really abusing her on TV. That was not abuse. That was just part of the storyline, part of his gimmick, part of him being a heel to get the fans to hate him. How he treated Elizabeth bad. But backstage and at home, and this is not really, doesn't have anything to do with his career. But there's been so many stories that Randy Savage was way too overprotective of Elizabeth. And I get it. He was her husband. He didn't want the boys hitting on her or trying to sleep with her, or even when they were at home, off the road, there are rumors he locked her in the house. That he locked her in their own house because he had to go somewhere. That he locked her in the house and would like buy a bunch of TV dinners to tell her, you can eat those every night I'm gone. That's not good. That's way too overprotective, and that's not a normal relationship. If anybody's treating a male or female like that, if you're getting treated like a dog or a cat in your relationship, it's time to leave the damn relationship. And that's what happened. In 92, 91, maybe 1990, I'm not sure the year they broke up. I'm sure they separated and they were still married for a while. But eventually, Elizabeth wanted to leave Randy because the guy was way too overprotective and wouldn't let her do anything by herself or with her friends. And I get it, why he was so overprotective, but I don't agree with it. Again, if you're in a relationship and it's not good, if your partner's being way too overprotective and nuts and crazy and paranoid, just leave them. Just leave them. Get away from them. Far away from them. And make sure they cannot find you. So, again, Randy Savage never abused Elizabeth physically, because if he did, I'm pretty sure it would have came out by somebody or a police report or something, or or other wrestlers would have probably noticed Elizabeth with bruises or something. I don't think she's ever abused physically unless she just hid it and never told anybody. But still, she was abused by Randy being overprotective, and just that's not good. So I think some of the bad with Randy Savage is the guy was way too overprotective with Elizabeth. Again, she was not your slave. She was in a relationship with you. She was not your slave, Randy. And I'm not saying he treated her like a slave, but all the stories I heard were not good from Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, a lot of other guys, Hulk Hogan's ex-wife. Everybody just about said Randy was way too overprotective of Elizabeth. So later on, probably when he went to WCW, he probably got a lot better, and because they weren't together, but he still had a lot of love for her. So more bad, and there's not much bad when it comes to Randy Savage inside the wrestling ring and on the microphone. The guy really hardly did anything that sucked or was a shit. Some of the more bad is when he came back in '99. He shouldn't have wrestled. He won the world title. His final match in WCW. I know it was like a battle royal on Thunder. He appeared. I don't think he was in the match. He just appeared and beat everybody up like he's part of the Millionaires Club in the year 2000. But I don't think that was a match. He just showed up. His final WCW pay-per-view match, I believe, was against Dennis Rodman at Road Wild 99. Not a good final pay-per-view match to be up against Rodman, because the match was not good. I think it was a street fight or something, or no count out. They brawled into the back, and it was not good. It was a mess. So the bad was when Randy Savage returned in '99. I love him to death, but he shouldn't have wrestled. He didn't have to. He should have been on commentary or just cut promos. He could have got gorgeous George, who he was dating at the time. He could have got her more over by cutting promos for her. Even though she did get over, she actually had a wrestling match at Slamboree 99. And she was cheered. And she was a very, in my opinion, gorgeous George. When she's with Randy Savage, she was a very attractive woman, I thought. So it would have been fine if in '99 he just came back to cut promos or do commentary. That would have been great. I just don't think he should have been wrestling anymore. And then he came back in '99 and he was super jacked. He was like on a lot of roids, I believe. Or on at least some steroids, because he was super jacked. Even in the Spider-Man movie, when he played Bonesaw, he was jacked, really jacked in the Spider-Man movie. He's probably on the juice then also. I'm not putting down anybody that does roids, but it's just obvious when someone does them because you can tell. So that's all the bad I have is he shouldn't have wrestled in '99 and how he treated Elizabeth when they were married. Now the good that Randy Savage did. He's a 2-time WWF champion. He's a 4-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. I thought he did great stuff in the ring. Just when he was in his prime, he was so damn good in the ring and on the mic. He was such a great heel in 85, 86, part of 87. He was such a good heel. And he was at the top of his game in the ring. Even 88, he was still at the top of his game in the ring. I think he was still good in the ring in 92 also. And 96, he wasn't bad. So, again, his in-ring career, Randy Savage's in-ring career kind of started going downhill because he needed to leave to have knee surgery. He was off TV for months in 98. So his career started kind of going really downhill. Like it was time to hang up the boots in 98. He should have retired in 98. So, again, 85, 86, 87, he was such a great heel. When he came in, debuted for the WWF, he was such a great heel with Elizabeth as his manager. They were the perfect on-screen couple. I mean, they're super pop. Elizabeth was more over than Randy Savage at one point when he was a heel. Even when he's a babyface, she was still really super over. They called her the first lady of wrestling for a reason, because she was so damn over. She didn't have to talk. She didn't have to do anything. She just had to come out to the ring with Randy Savage, and she was cheered like crazy. She was really cheered at SummerSlam 88, the first SummerSlam, when she took her skirt off. The crowd really liked that and really cheered. Really popped when she took her skirt off to distract Andre and Ted DiBiase and the referee Jesse Ventura. So he was such a great Intercontinental Champion. He had such a great reign as Intercontinental Champion. He won it in 1986 against Tito Santana, I believe in February. I think it's February 86. He won the IC title. Had such a great run. Made the IC title really damn important. When he had it, he made it damn important. And the number 2 title in the company. I would say the IC title was probably the number 2 title until probably like 99. Then it kind of went downhill. So, again, I enjoyed my commentary in the WWF. I thought he was damn good on commentary. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed him on commentary. He was damn good in Hollywood and Spider-Man. The first Spider-Man, the 2002 Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Also, just as going back to the 80s, he won the King of the Ring. The WWF had a King of the Ring tournament. He won it in 1987. His voice was so damn recognizable. It's been talked about. He didn't really talk like that. Or maybe he did. I'm not really sure to this day if that was his real voice. Of course, when he did promos, he turned his voice up to like 100 level for his gimmick. But in real life, I don't think he went, "Ooh, yeah, what's up, everybody? It's nice to see you today." I don't think he talked like that rough in everyday life when he was not on TV. I doubt it. But maybe he did. Some actually say he really talked like that, but that was probably fans and wrestlers running into him for pictures or autographs, and he probably put on his gimmick voice for them because he didn't want to break kayfabe. So his voice was iconic, his promos iconic, his wrestling gear iconic. The robes, just beautiful, sparkly looking, just bedazzled, just beautiful robes. And he had a ton of different ones. Like every color of the rainbow, he had a robe for. Like every color. Just great gear, great robes, and later on in the early 90s, he started wearing the jackets. Great gear, great jackets, great cowboy hats, sunglasses. The guy had some of the all time greatest wrestling gear and entrance gear of all time. And the guy had a great run. This is more good about Randy Savage. He had a great run in the WWF from 1984 or 1985 to 1994. What a great run. WCW, he had a great run from 1994 to 2000. And he was put in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2009. I don't know if he attended that. I don't have a clue if he attended that or made an induction speech. He was in the finals, go back to the 80s. He was in the finals of the Wrestling Classic, the first ever WWF pay-per-view. It was I think it was after WrestleMania 1, I believe, but WrestleMania 1 was not a pay-per-view. It was on closed circuit. So I believe the Wrestling Classic is known as the first WWF pay-per-view. Not the first pay-per-view. I believe that is Starrcade 83. For the first big closed circuit event, basically was like a pay-per-view. But the Wrestling Classic in 1985, the Macho Man, Randy Savage, made it to the finals. 2015, he was put finally in his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame in 2015. It was great, but God, I wish he was alive to make his induction speech and his return to the WWE stage. I so wish he was alive for that. The fans would have loved it. I would have loved seeing him on the WWE Network at the 2015 Hall of Fame. It would have been so great if he could have still been alive and appeared. I don't think he would have wanted to appear. Probably, if he's still alive in 2015, he would have probably turned it down. He probably did turn it down. When he was alive, he probably turned it down all the time. WWE and Vince probably wanted to put him in like 2004. When they had an induction ceremony in New York City before WrestleMania 20. Randy probably said no. Way before he died, he probably said no to the WWE. But before he died, like a year before, or maybe a couple months before, or 2 years before, I think it was 2010 or 2009, he did work on a WWE video game project, a WWE Legends game. He did work on that. I believe he gave his voice to his character or something. He did cut a promo for the WWE Legends game. He actually cut a promo. He had a gray beard, but still he could cut a damn good promo, even as a guy that's like 57, 56 years old. He could still cut a really good, entertaining promo. So that video is somewhere. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Look up Randy Savage's final promo. That'll probably pop up. I don't know if he's working with the video game company. I think it's THQ at the time. Or if he's working with WWE. Maybe the video game company contacted him and say, we want you to work. And we want to put you in the game. And we want you to work on the game and do promotion for it. I'm still not sure if WWE contacted him about the game. And if he agreed to come back and work with them a little bit. I just don't know. I would like to think that he talked to Vince or someone in WWE, but I don't know if he ever did. I know his brother, Lanny Poffo, said after he died that it was his decision. That is Lanny Poffo's decision to put his brother in the Hall of Fame, even though his brother did not want it. Lanny Poffo said his mother basically said, I'm going to do what I want to do for once and put him in because Randy always did what he wanted to do. And I don't know, something like basically Lanny was like saying, like the family and all the fans were always fans of Randy Savage. And I guess Lanny felt like he's in his shadow and never could do anything he wanted to do. Or his brother, Randy, would never listen to him. I don't know. But that's what he said. He put him in the Hall of Fame because he wanted to do something for himself. Or something. Something like that. So there's just so much good that Randy Savage did in his wrestling career. More good. He put over guys like Diamond Dallas Page. He put him over. Had a really good feud and rivalry with DDP. Put over Ricky Steamboat in 1987. They had a really good match. And I think they had like 2 or 3 matches in 87 that were televised. Put over Steamboat, put over DDP, put over Ric Flair a lot. Put over Hulk Hogan a lot. Now, Hogan probably did have creative control in the 80s. Probably told Vince and said to Vince if he didn't want to lose to someone, he said, Vince, I'm not losing to this guy. And Vince probably agreed with him and went along with Hogan because Hogan is making him so much damn money. And Hogan was the top guy for the company. I love Randy Savage, but every fan, even though if you hate Hogan and you're biased towards Randy Savage, I just go deep down inside yourself and just realize that Hogan was the guy. And that's the truth. He was the number one guy for the company. He did make more money for the company. He did put more asses in seats than Randy Savage. Now, that's not a knock at Randy Savage. I'm just saying it because I believe it's true. And if you don't believe that Hogan made more money and was the top guy, if you don't believe that, well, you're delusional. So, again, put over Flair, Steamboat, DDP, Hulk Hogan a ton. Really helped the Ultimate Warrior have good matches and put over the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7. The Warrior probably had his best match ever with Randy Savage. Again, Randy Savage, the guy was a really giving guy. I think he really enjoyed putting over other guys that he liked. He liked Warrior for some reason, and he liked DDP. And Steamboat, I think he liked him, but Steamboat, I think, was kind of annoyed by Randy Savage planning out the match step by step, number by number. Like number 1 was lockup. Like spot number 300 he had written down, and Randy and Steamboat had to go over it and memorize the whole damn match. And I think Steamboat is kind of annoyed by that because Steamboat could work on the fly. Steamboat and Flair could put on a classic 5-star match, and they didn't even have to speak and call the spots. They just did it in the ring because they knew each other so well. So I think Steamboat and Savage could have had a great matchup by just calling spots in the ring. They really could have. So again, he helped and put over the Warrior. He helped Bret Hart backstage a lot. He was like a mentor to Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in the early 90s. So now to Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan debuted in 1978. And again, he had his final match in 2000, I think 11, in TNA against Sting at a Bound for Glory. That is crazy that two of the all-time greats again had their final matches in TNA. So you just let's get before we get to the good and the good of Hogan's career, let's get to the bad. It's been known by so many. A lot of the boys, a lot of the wrestlers hate Hogan or are jealous of the guy. Probably jealousy, in my opinion, because they never got to work with him and make a ton of money with him. But some of the hate is probably I don't know what word to use. Some of the hate is probably accepted. Not accepted. Some of the hate is probably Hogan's fault for the guys that hate him. He must have done something to them or held them back or something. But some of the hate is also jealousy. I just want to say that because I believe it. So this is some of the bad. He held back talent, held back younger talent, and held back some talent, I guess. I wasn't there, so I don't really know. He probably did hold back Randy Savage because Savage probably could have been champion a year earlier, but still, Savage became champion anyways. And Hogan was smart enough and knew that Randy was super over. So when Hogan knew he could go do movies in Hollywood and be gone, that the company would be just fine with Randy Savage as a top guy when he was gone. And when he came back, you could say, well, this is the bad about Hogan. He wanted his spot back. He wanted to be a main eventer forever. For his whole career, he wanted to be a main eventer. And every time he returned, he was put in the main event or won a world title. You could say, what an ego Hogan had, that every time he had to come back, he had to be on top. Well, so what? If you were as big of a star as he was in the 80s and 90s, you probably would have put yourself over a lot too and wanted to be on top and make top guy money. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I could use the analogy, it's like The Undertaker. Every time he comes back, who do you think he's going to work with? Jinder Mahal? I don't think so. What do you think he's going to be a mid-carder in the first match? I don't think so. Undertaker returns, a guy should be put in a top storyline or top matchup. Not saying he should be put in the main event, but in a top match of a pay-per-view. So he held back talent, I guess, because I wasn't there. I'm not going to just take some wrestler's word for it that were probably jealous of Hogan. In my opinion, a lot of guys are probably super jealous. I know a lot of guys that love Hogan, like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Nasty Boys, A Honky Tonk Man, Booker T, Harlem Heat, King Kong Bundy put over Hogan, that he was a great guy to him. Again, Booker T's put him over. King Kong Bundy, Duggan, Nasty Boys. Brutus Beefcake would not have had a career in the WWF without his friendship of knowing Hogan. ton of other guys benefited a lot from Hogan, either bringing their name up or saying they should get a push or bringing them into the company he was in. I heard a story from Booker T or somebody, maybe it was Stevie Ray or Booker T or someone. I think Booker T said it on his radio show. He said WCW, they were about to get rid of Harlem Heat. And Hogan spoke up and said, no, these guys are really, really good. They're our top tag team. You are not getting rid of them. Basically, Hogan saved Harlem Heat's job. At least that's a story I heard. I mean, look at Virgil. My God, Virgil had no business ever making a ton of money in wrestling. Just like Brutus Beefcake had no business making a ton of money and becoming a star, but he did. And Virgil must have been tight with Hogan to get a job in WCW because that guy didn't do anything in WCW. The guy was paid to basically do nothing and just party and walk around with the NWO. He barely worked hard for that money in WCW. So more bad. Hogan was a master at playing politics backstage. The guy was a master at it. He more bad he shouldn't have wrestled in TNA. I don't think he should have at all. He defeated Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2006. He shouldn't have defeated Randy Orton. He should have put Orton over. But again, if I put myself in Hogan's shoes, why would I return to lose? So he also defeated Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005, and he shouldn't have. More bad. The Dungeon of Doom feud. Why did it exist? It was so bad. The Dungeon of Doom Hogan feud was so damn bad. I thought the Piper feud was not. The matches were not the feud in WCW, but the matches were not good. 1996, 1997. Hollywood Hogan Rowdy Piper matches were not good. They shouldn't have happened on pay-per-view. Yeah, they probably got good buy rates, but they shouldn't have happened because the matches were lousy and not good. The finger poke of doom. This is more bad about Hogan. Not saying he came up with the idea. I don't know if he did. Maybe Kevin. I think Kevin Nash did because he was a booker at the time, or someone listened to him. The finger poke of doom, January 4th, 1999 was bad. That was really bad. So there's a lot more bad with Hogan in his career than what Savage did. So now the good. Now let's get to the good of Hulk Hogan, and there's a lot of good, in my opinion. The good is he wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling in 1980 to 1985. He was the original. He was the original IWGP champion one time. He wrestled for the AWA, had a great run in the AWA, had a great run in New Japan. But AWA, he really had a great run, really got over big time. They were selling out. Fans were coming to see the AWA because Hogan was there. Hulkamania was running wild, and it started in the AWA. But Vern Gagne, you were stupid. Hogan left your ass because you tried to take a lot of his money from his Japan deal, his Japan contract. Somehow, I guess you tried to steal his money, or you did. That was stupid, Vern. You didn't earn any of his Japan money. You didn't have a right to it. So I don't know why the hell you tried to do it. Probably because you were an old man, crooked promoter. Or at your older age, you became a crooked promoter and thought you owned your wrestlers and could take all the money they made out of the country. No, you couldn't. That was wrong. And that's why Hogan left your ass. And that's why you went downhill after he left. So, had a really good run in the AWA. Had good tag matches with Andre the Giant as his partner. Was in a lot of battle royals. Had a lot of good singles matches for the AWA title against Nick Bockwinkel. So Hogan had a really good run in the AWA. I believe he's there for 2 years, 81 to 83. Had a just epic, one of the all-time greatest runs ever in wrestling in the WWF, 1983, December 83 to 1993. A decade of Hulkamania running wild in the WWF. And I still believe Hogan built the WWE. He put them on his back and carried that company. He carried them to now that all the success and the billions that they're getting is because of what Hogan did for that decade. He probably made them seriously, he probably made them like $500 million, or at least 200 to 300 million, because Hogan was box office. The guy was so over in the WWF in the 80s. From 83 to 93, he was super over. He was still over in 93, but not as much as the 80s. The 80s were the era of Hulkamania. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So, more good. More good. The Mega Powers. The Mega Powers. Putting the Mega Powers together, I thought was good. Because Hogan was the top guy, and he was giving a rub to Randy Savage and getting him more over, making him look like a bigger superstar because he was associated and with Hogan. Savage being in the Mega Powers got him more over than he ever could have got himself. Could have never got as over as he did in 88, late 87. I don't think he would have been WWF champion if Vince never put him with Hogan and saw that he could become a star. And yes, Savage obviously was a star by himself. He was a superstar, but when he was put with Hogan, he was like here, and he went up to here, in my opinion. Being put with Hogan got him more over. At least that's what I think and feel. He's a six-time WWF World Champion. Six-time whatever you want to say, WWE Champion, WWF Champion. He's a six-time champion. Six-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Also, he won the Royal Rumble in 1990 and 1991. He's a Royal Rumble two-time winner. He won a tag team championship with Edge in 2002. That was pretty cool. He went into the Hall of Fame, WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. He probably should have been in like way before that, but whatever. This is more good. His heel turn in 1996, so fucking good when he turned heel and became Hollywood Hogan. That was just too sweet, and for life, that was so damn good when he turned heel, because nobody expected it. Again, the good, he got Savage over more. He pushed and he pushed and got Sting more over also, in my opinion. Yes, Sting was a crow character and he was super over, but if he didn't have Hollywood Hogan to go after and face, he wouldn't have been as over. So Hollywood Hogan, in my opinion, really got Sting more over than he was. He got him more over. He gave him a push because he laid down for Sting. Hogan put over the Ultimate Warrior when he didn't deserve it. Yeah, he was super popular, but I don't think he deserved it. Hogan put over the Warrior. Hogan put over the Giant when he debuted. He lost to the Giant, and Giant won the world title from him. I think Giant debuted. I think at Slamboree or Great America Slamboree. I think 95 he appeared out of the curtain and then he left. But his first match, he appeared at Fall Brawl, attacked Hogan. His first singles match on pay-per-view, the Giant defeated Hulk Hogan for the world title at Halloween Havoc 95. Yes, it was a mess, and there's a lot of comedy. The monster truck match on the roof, and the Giant supposedly fell off the roof to his death. And then he returned, and he didn't have one scratch on his body. That was ridiculous. They said he fell off the roof. I don't know who came up with that, if it was Hogan or what, to think, oh, let's have the Giant walk out to the ring like nothing happened. That was ridiculous. Because the guy fell off a roof. Off a roof of an arena. Like 100 feet to his death. And then he just came out like nothing happened. But still, Hogan saw the Giant. That the Giant could be a star because of his size and his look. And that he was an athlete. Hogan saw that. And put over the Giant big time, and the Giant became a star the minute he defeated Hogan. The guy was a big star for WCW. So again, he put over the Warrior, Savage. He did put over Savage by Savage being with him in the Mega Powers. He put over the Warrior, he put over the Giant, he put over Sting, he put over Goldberg. It should have been on pay-per-view, but July 1998, I think July 7th, Nitro 1998, Hogan put over Goldberg, and Goldberg became the world champion. Yes, Goldberg was unstoppable, and whoever was champion probably was going to lose to Goldberg. But still, Goldberg defeated one of the biggest names in wrestling, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Defeated Hulk Hogan on Nitro. And that just put Goldberg, again, Goldberg was here. He was super over. But when he defeated Hogan for the world title, he went up to here. So that's a good, again, a little bit more good. Hogan, 82, 83. In the AWA, he was super over. In 83 to 93, he was the most over, biggest name in pro wrestling. Period. The guy, you say the name Hulk Hogan, everybody knows it. You don't gotta be a wrestling fan. You know who Hulk Hogan is. Because the guy's one of the biggest names in the wrestling industry. He was the most over, biggest name in wrestling. Just one of the most over wrestlers ever. And yeah, you could argue Steve Austin is Stone Cold, became bigger, made more money. That's probably a fact. He probably did make more money in the Attitude Era for WWF than Hogan did in the 80s. Austin 316 shirt probably did sell more than the Hulkamania shirt. But still, Stone Cold Hulk Hogan, I would say Hogan's a bigger name in wrestling. So now who's better? I gave you the good and the bad of both Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Who's better, in my opinion? You could say maybe I'm biased because I was a Hulkamaniac, and the reason I got into the WWF and got into pro wrestling and got hooked, that reason is Hulk Hogan. So maybe I'm biased. But again, Hogan made more money than Savage. He was a bigger star than Savage. Put more asses in seats than Savage. He sold more merchandise than Savage. At one point, Hogan was the WWF champion for 4 straight years. So who's better? Hulk Hogan. In my opinion, Hulk Hogan is better. Hope you enjoyed this new episode of Who's Better, Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. Bye for now.